control over is oxygen. Something tells me that if they have a way, they will cage. Leaders have been caged. Nigerian leaders have been imprisoned by propaganda merchants. And as far as those propaganda merchants are not getting rid of, honestly, Nigeria's economy will finally grind into the valley. Anybody who tells you that the economy is looking good, that person is not honest to you. Entitlement is not correct. Are we enjoying any entitlement in energy today? No, as far as I'm concerned, there is no entitlement in electricity. We are not enjoying any entitlement in education. We are not enjoying any entitlement in health. We are not enjoying any entitlement in agriculture. We are not enjoying any entitlement in security. The only thing that we are enjoying today that I strongly believe some of those economic vampires have no control over is oxygen. Something tells me that if they have a way, they will cage and lock the oxygen.
Fiscal stability, compliance, and digital tax administration. In a statement, presidential spokesperson Bayo Onanuga said President Bola Tinubu cited significant increases in non-oil revenues for all tiers of government between January and August 2025. In addition, the federal government says that state governments now have more money to operate following the removal of the petrol subsidy by Tinubu's administration in May 2023. Well, Tinubu's new tax law imposing 5% tax on fossil fuel sales from January 2026 has also drawn criticism amid widespread poverty and economic hardship in the land. Web engineer and oil and gas analyst Bala Zaka joins me now online from Lagos. Glad to have you join me, Bala.
Thank you, and I greet our viewers across the globe.
Good, wonderful, good to see you again. Well, the president says he has achieved his revenue target, non-oil sector, but the question will be, at what cost? And in what areas particularly?
What you don't do now?
Well, I will talk in my own capacity as a Nigerian. And I was not in politics yesterday. I'm not in politics today. And I have no plans to be in politics tomorrow. As far as I'm concerned, the economy is hurting. Nigerians are groaning in pains. The variables are down. There is serious poverty inertia, and the facts are clear. All I will say is this: right from the time we went into democracy to now, I have noticed that political dispensation after political dispensation, unfortunately, Nigerian leaders have been caged. Nigerian leaders have been imprisoned by propaganda merchants. And as far as those propaganda merchants are not getting rid of, honestly, Nigeria's economy will finally grind into the valley. Anybody who tells you that the economy is looking good, that person is not honest to you. Any person who tells you that the economy is not experiencing serious stunted growth, that person is not honest to you. You know it and I know. All the economic variables are down. You know it. Some people say we the citizens are after entitlement. Is not correct. Are we enjoying any entitlement in energy today? No, as far as I'm concerned, there is no entitlement in electricity. We are not enjoying any entitlement in education. We are not enjoying any entitlement in health. We are not enjoying any entitlement in agriculture. We are not enjoying any entitlement in security. The only thing that we are enjoying today that I strongly believe some of those economic vampires have no control over is oxygen. Something tells me that if they have a way, they will cage and lock the oxygen. Our leaders from knowing the truth. There is a need to get rid of these propaganda merchants because the economy of Nigeria is in red. It is not me talking in Nigeria. People know it across the globe. We are not doing well. Yes, we have the population, but what is the quality of our population today? Before we used to brag about our population. You cannot brag about our healthcare system today. You cannot brag about our Nigerian security. You cannot brag about our agricultural products. You cannot brag about our education. The only thing we can brag about today is oxygen. And oxygen is the free gift of God Almighty that nobody has control over, especially these propaganda merchants that have caged and blocked our leaders from knowing the truth.
One has what you said, but the president insists that from January to August 2025, total collections reached 20.59 trillion, a 40.5% increase from 14.6 trillion recorded in 2024. For sure, that signifies an increase.
Let me say something, and I don't want to talk about credentials and academics, but I'm a chartered accountant. I'm a practicing petroleum engineer, and I studied engineering to PhD level. But let's keep academics and paper aside. Ask any Okada rider or a vulcanizer if that person buys 10 liters of petrol at about 8,000 Nigerian naira, how many tires would that person vulcanize before he breaks even? The Nigerian minimum wage is 70,000. Ask anybody. 70,000 cannot buy you 100 liters of petrol or diesel or kerosene. 100,000 Nigerian naira cannot buy you 50 kg bags of fertilizer. 70,000 Nigerian naira. As I speak to you today, let those economic theorists and all those propagandists that are using fake economic papers and analysis explain to me how 70,000 Nigerian naira can feed a family of 4. Let them explain. That is why we say they have caged our leaders. All the other analysis you are doing, I can explain. I know the economic variables are down and Nigeria are growing. The difference between Nigeria and other countries and why many Nigerians are running away is because they are getting those basics that we technically call subsidies. And subsidy is being abused in Nigeria. The only reason why people are running away from Nigeria is because they get subsidy in education, they get subsidy in security, they get subsidy in health, and they are giving their best. So all I'm going to say is this: it's not the volume, it's not the size of the minimum wage. Some countries you go, they are earning 5,000 in their currency, but they get everything. So enough of this paper economy. Is enough of these fake propagandists. And it is time our leaders, our political leaders in particular, are released from the cages and the prisons because they have been placated. The truth is the economy is hurting. And I stand to have debate with anybody. As I speak to you, before I came to your studio, I was with Pa Ayo Okpadokun. Who is that person that will tell me Pa Ayo Okpadokun has not fought for Nigeria? His type are less than 1% now living. And by this time tomorrow is public holiday, around 10 o'clock, I will be with Pa Ayo Okpadokun. Those are the kind of Nigerians remaining that are encouraging us. But in real sense, in reality, the economy is down.
All right, before I let you go, just one more question. Well, the president actually, he also says that the economy is stabilized. Nobody's trading piece of paper for exchange rate anymore. I want you to react to that before I let you go.
Okay, I want to believe that Mr. President has been given what we call statistics. But I can tell you that there is a difference between statistics and mathematics. In mathematics, 1 plus 1 is 2. In statistics, 1 plus 1 is X plus an error margin. And that error margin can be 100% error margin. Most of the statistics being given to our leaders have 100% error margin. So most of them are paper statistics, paper analysis. The reality on the ground is that things are bad. There is economic docility. The inertia of poverty is heavy and high. There is a need for a very strong force to overcome that poverty inertia and generate the necessary momentum that will get our economy moving and running.
We'll leave it there. That's Chulo engineer. So forcefully speaking there, oil and gas analyst Bala Zaka on Primetime. Bala, sorry we didn't have so much time because of the technical hitches. But thank you for being on Arise Primetime.
Northwest leadership unequivocally condemns this cowardly, undemocratic, and criminal attack on our peaceful members. This is not just an assault on the ADC. It is an assault on the democracy itself. Our members were lawfully gathered to carry out a legitimate political function, exercising their constitutional right to freedom of association under sections 39 and 40 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. To unleash thugs on innocent citizens simply because of their political choices is an unacceptable, intolerable, and shameful behavior. The perpetrators of this cowardly act and their sponsors are well known to the security agencies. The questionable conduct of security agencies, particularly the Nigeria Police Force, during and after the incident is troubling. Instead of protecting lives and property, the police were slow to act, and the report suggests they aided the attackers rather than restrain them. We demand their immediate arrest and prosecution. Failure to act swiftly will only lend credence to the charge of complicity against the security agencies, embolden further acts of political terrorism, and deepen insecurity across Kaduna State and the nation.
Yes.
We also condemn the unconstitutional and illegal directives allegedly issued by security agencies banning political party meetings in hotels, conference halls, and other public spaces across Kaduna State. Let it be clear, no security agency has the power to unilaterally suspend the rights of citizens to freedom of assembly and association. Such actions are direct violation of the Constitution and an affront to democracy. The convoy of a senior leader of our party and former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Honorable Abubakar Malami San, was attacked by thugs and hoodlums in his own home state of Kebbi while on his way for condolence visit. The attack was carried out by APC members while he was passing by the state APC headquarters. Honorable Abubakar Malami San and persons in his convoy were targeted by the attackers, as a result of which a number of persons sustained injuries and several of the vehicles in this convoy were smashed and mutilated. We condemn in the strongest possible terms this barbaric act and call on the Kebbi State Police Command to conduct a thorough, professional, fair, and non-partisan investigation into this unfortunate incident and bring the perpetrators to justice. In the light of these disturbing events, the ADC Northwest leadership makes the following clear and uncompromising demands.
Thank you, bro.
Immediate lifting of unconstitutional restrictions on political meetings in Kaduna State and hotels, conference centers, and other public spaces. An end to the harassment, intimidation, and unlawful surveillance of ADC members and other opposition parties by Operation Fushinkada, the DSS, and other security agencies. Our commitment to peace and democracy The ADC remains deeply committed to peaceful political engagement, rule of law, and the protection of democracy. Therefore, we will not fold our arms while our members are attacked, our rights violated, and our voices suppressed.
What we planned, or what was planned, was that the Northwest ADC leaders will come and visit Northwest Kaduna to commiserate with us for the incident of Saturday. And we're going to have that visit in our party zonal office. The police commissioner wrote to say that he should not have that. He knows what he's writing violates the constitution. So they went ahead to try to obtain a court order. This morning he invited the National Vice Chairman Northwest and waved a piece of paper claiming that they have obtained a court order stopping us from having that meeting. We have not seen the court order. It has not been properly served on us, because even if there is a court order, there is a legal process to serve an affected person. It has not been served on us. But as responsible leaders, we had the choice of going there. We're within our constitutional rights. But as responsible leaders, we decided that even though we have not seen the order, we believe the Commissioner of Police, because we don't believe the Commissioner of Police could be lying. But we'll interrogate that.
Let's now take reactions to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's declaration that the creation of state police is now critical to strengthening security across the country. The president made the comments on Tuesday during a visit from Katsina State Governor Diko Rada at the presidential villa in Abuja. In his remarks, Tinubu stated that although the country is dealing with difficult security challenges, the problems can be fixed with determination and the right strategy. Well, let's take a look before we take some reaction.
I've been looking at the security situation more carefully. I've seen civilian JTF, for what you call it, to react to the security challenges. Find so many creative way you people would be going to protect the neighborhood and communities around you.
Communities.
And that is provoked my thinking about, state police. Again, politics apart. We can discuss with the National Assembly leadership to really, look at critical path to that again.
All right. I mean, the state governors have also been advocating for the state police. It's good and it's quite reassuring to see that the president is actually, at this moment, backing the idea. Let me take Temi Tokwe's tweet. And he wrote, if there's going to be state police, then devolution of power must happen. Let states pay their police salaries from the proceeds they see in their states. I like that point. You can't create state police without devolution of power. A police in Lagos or Rivers should earn more than the one in Yola, right? Fine. Another tweet is from Femi. They wrote, absolutely. We've been clamoring for this for long. The local people know their own people and state very well. Let them police their own affairs. Each state should recruit individuals from their state. Send them to the federal government police college for a mandatory training. After the training, they obtain a police license. Then they go back to their states as police officers to be managed by the state governments. The federal government can then have specialized policing teams for crime investigation and for deterrence. Dr. Bati, what do you make of this? I mean, I do like the idea of devolution of powers as well. I mean, I think that is really the way to go.
Okay, let's start as follows. No, this is not new. I made a point earlier on that since 2014 National Political Conference, state police was one of the recommendations of that political conference under the Jonathan administration. But of course, when President Buhari got there, he set it aside. He said it was not an issue, complaints about the conclusions of that report, about the composition of the National Political Conference. That was that. But when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu got into office, he, having been an advocate and having written a book on federalism, said, okay, let us visit the issue of state police. In 2024, a committee was set up to revisit the matter. That committee was led by the Vice President Kashim Shettima. Now, by January this year, we were told that all the state governments had already signed up to the idea of state police. We discussed it here. Many people say, it was an idea that the time had come. Now, the various states, they were supposed to submit their reports, their own, framework as to how that can be worked out. Now, the deadline given to them was, I think, March 2025. As at March 2025, only 20 states have submitted their own reports. So you don't even see the commitment on the part of the states. So now President Tinubu, meeting a delegation from Katsina State, says he's committed to the idea of state police. What will be required? Now the background lies in constitutional reform. Section 215 says, Section 214 says that there shall be only one police force in Nigeria. So that's where the point about devolution of powers comes from. That for you to have state police, you have to amend that Section 214. Section 215 of the same constitution says expressly that only the president of Nigeria can give directives to that sole police force of Nigeria. So unless you do all of that, the governors are powerless. That's why a governor, of Zamfara State will say, well, I can solve the problem, but he does not have the powers. That's why an ordinary police sergeant, or what was his rank, will tell Governor Sanwo-Olu of Lagos that I don't take instructions from governor. I take instructions only from my guys on top. So these are the issues that are involved.
Same vein, though, reactions have continued to trail the 6-year sentencing of Nigerian-born Finnish citizen Simon Ekpa by a Finnish court for terrorism-related activities. The federal government, through the Minister of Information, had hailed the verdict as a major victory for Nigerian people in the collective fight against terror. Now, the Igbo social-cultural organization, Ohaneze Ndigbo, on Wednesday applauded the federal government for Ekpa's incarceration. In a statement by the deputy president of the group, the development underscores the Igbo people's resolute opposition to armed struggle under the guise of Biafra agitation. The group stated that they unequivocally condemn terrorism in all its forms and reject any deviation from non-violent self-determination principles, adding that the Igbo nation stands united for peace and constructive dialogue. I mean, this group have stated that, Ekpa's arrest will mitigate insecurity in the southeast. They commended the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, for their efforts in fighting terror in the region. The Finnish court found Ekpa guilty of using his social media to urge his followers to commit crimes. He was also found guilty of supplying groups with weapons and explosives while also promoting violence on the ground in Nigeria from where he was in Finland. I'd like to take some reactions to that comment comment from the Igbo social cultural group Ohaneze and Igbo. This person, Naji, wrote on X that this is not a federal government of Nigeria case. It's between Finland and Simon Ekpa. No one needs to commend Nigeria government for it. I completely disagree with that tweet. Well, Araba described the deputy president as fraudulent. He wrote, how can this fraudulent person claim to be speaking for the Ohanese with no challenge?
Who?
Which government or which federal government did that? Why did they allow the guy to wreak havoc in the southeast before going after him? Is it not shameful that this case concluded speedily, which is a huge conversation, while the other one in Nigeria moves like snail? Your thoughts on those comments?
Okay, so terror has no place in society, and anybody that supports and condemns and condones terror, like Simon Ekpa did, I totally condemn them, because I feel terror is not the solution to the problems of the Southeast. Are there cases of marginalization against the Southeast? Yes, like we always say, the Civil War never ended. Honestly, and it's true. Because after Gowon declared no victor, no vanquish, there's still a lot that needs to be done for the Southeast that has not been done. And we still see this clear marginalization. And it's this marginalization that makes people like Simon Ekpa have a voice in the first place. At some point it was Ralph Wazirike, Nnamdi Kanu, all of them. The common thread is marginalization, which I think the government should fix. And that's why I said the first process in doing that is settling the Nnamdi Kanu case. And so that we start restoring sanity to the Southeast region, because if we restore it, then development will come. But I totally condemn everything Simon Ekpa did.
I'll call you later, yeah?
But I think, and I disagree with that too, like you said, the federal government has to be commended. Because the federal government did make overtures. But Finland did say, okay, yes, we are, we are a sovereign nation, we're going to deal with this.
Okay.
IPOB also did go against, some, Ekpa, a lot. And in fact, they did come out openly to pronounce that they are not in support of what he was doing. So that's settled. I think another case I would like to talk about is this. You see, the kind of democracy we will run in Nigeria.
Not be church when you go. Listen,
it's a demonstration of grace. But you made a valid point that the Constitution, yes. The police, the Nigerian police force, which says we all take instruction from the commander-in-chief. That applies when the government institute is not aligned with the federal government. We have also seen police in the states being used, and federal police in the state being used to be able to go against oppositions of governors in that same state. When they are doing it, the state governor is in charge. Because it's probably alignment with the central government then. But when it comes to cases of insecurity in the state, and it's not probably aligned with the central government, then he starts to cry. Because that time, the central government will not give him all the support he gets. So I think also the case of the politicization of the central government in the case of insecurity is the big problem. Coming back to what Dauda was saying, and I think this is the thread what Dauda was saying. When we hear about case of banditry in Zamfara states, we don't see a big response by the state, by the federal government security forces there. But recently there was an election. 5 polling units. You needed to see how they deployed brigades and brigades. In fact, they summoned up military forces from Gombe and neighboring states just to be able to oversee 5 polling units, because the APC was involved in that election. And they finally did win the election to prove a political point. So another part in all of this conversation about state police is going to be the eventual politicization of the apparatchik of security in those states. And that's why Dauda is saying that, yes, I should be able to sort this out. But the question is, we also know what is going on in these states. The politicization, because in one breath, you want to go ahead and flush the bandits. The bandits are also valuable during the election period.
What are the solutions? What are the solutions?
Number one solution is have a state police that is totally independent. And in fact, even having a state police is overflowed, because there is almost no states Most of the states in this country and most of the regions have some sort of architecture of state police. In the southeast, there's a Bubiagu.
Yeah, but their remits are limited.
Their remits are limited. So the only difference is, what's it called? Amoteco carries weapons, but they don't carry high-grade weapons like an AK-47. But they do intelligence gathering work and they work with the police. There's Shege Kafasa, there's all of that. So that model you have been using, continue to use it.
So you prefer to have the vigilante groups and the federal structure that we already have in place? Is that what you prefer?
No.
Because you are talking about Ebubagu and all of those.
There are still state vigilante units that are different from the likes of Amoteco and
No, I think that the state police, the idea of the state police is for them to have the full might and the full support to be able to govern their state. Some of these vigilantes, they go around with, useless weapons. They don't have. Yes, we saw things that happen in what is it? Agule Chamber. Yes.
That's what we are saying.
So I mean, that's the conversation. Is that what you're saying?
No, listen.
What's your conversation?
Please take our time to hear me.
Yes,
please. You have those vigilante units that are spread across the country. In fact, there's a National Vigilante Association. That's separate. Then you have things like what's Amoteco?
Yeah, we know that.
Amoteco, hope you know, is being led by a retired military officer, which they bring some structure and training into it. What I'm saying is those hitherto structures you have, amplify it, give them more oversight to be able to carry bigger weapons, and then go ahead and do the constitutional reform. But you must also put modalities and stopgaps in place that in a case where these people try to politicize and they become agents of the governor against their political adversaries, you will be able to step in. Because that's the grounds a lot of people have against the state police officer. But the structures are there. Governor Dauda has a cadet unit in Zamfara. The other day, we showed on TV when Benue launched their own. Almost everybody have their own.
All right.
But it's just out to... Lagos even has a neighborhood watch of some sort.
Okay.
We'll take another story.
How significant is this ruling by the National Industrial Court and how binding is it?
Well, thank you for having me. Of course, the decision of the National Industrial Court is binding on all authorities and persons throughout the Federal Republic of Nigeria by virtue of Section 287 of the Constitution. The Armed Forces, which has three components, the Navy, the Air Force, and the Army, they are agencies of government, they are institutions of government, and they are bound by the Constitution. They are creations of the Constitution. They are subjected to the Constitution. They are subjected to the jurisdiction of the courts established by the Constitution. So the question of whether they will be bound doesn't even arise, because even under military regime, and this is the point that we must continue to stress, court judgment, even the military, were even sometimes more open to obeying decisions of court. So on this issue, the court has taken a position, and this has been the jurisprudence of the National Industrial Court on this issue, that, look, you cannot simply say that because someone has offered to wear the uniform to serve his country, therefore, by fire, by force, at gunpoint, that the person must continue to serve Nigeria. What the Industrial Court has done is logical, it is just, by simply resetting that, look, by virtue of Section 306 of the Constitution, which is the basis upon which I went to court on behalf of my client, every public officer or every person elected, appointed, or is selected to an office appointed or created by the Constitution or recognized by the Constitution has the right to resign at any time. And that resignation is effective upon the receipt of the letter or the correspondence communicating that person's intention to resign. So what has happened in this particular case is a very sad example of the extent of injustice, the extent of the moral depravity, the abominable repression that the institution of the Armed Forces of Nigeria, has represented, particularly on this case. This is a man, my client, who joined the Armed Forces through the NDA, the Nigerian Defense Academy. He was selected in his final year in 2013 among the best in his set. He was selected for a course in the United States to be trained as a fighter pilot. While in the US, his allowances were not paid for about 5 months. In July 2014, he was suddenly recalled back to Nigeria without any explanation. thereby truncating what was supposed to be his opportunity for career progression. As if that was not enough, the authority of the Air Force, for about a year after they recalled him from the US from its course, did not assign him to any unit. They just left him hanging. And then he remained on one course as a flight officer for about 6 years, which is supposed to ordinarily be about 4 years. He was not promoted. His classmates were promoted. Series, and let me also mention to you that series of actions were taken and targeted at this gentleman, clearly showing that the authorities of the Air Force did not want him for reasons best known to him. So the other part of the reason why he had to insist on resigning was that his own father served